welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. The theme for this week's reading vlog is going to be finishing series that I'm currently in the middle of. In my last reading vlog, I did start the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy series, whatever you want to call it, and then I said that I would be reading the Ballad of Never After in the next reading vlog that I do. However, I flew through that book so quickly and just couldn't stop myself to actually be willing to pick up the camera because, again, I was just really hooked. And I did end up actually giving it a 5 stars. This series just literally captured my attention so quickly, and I just actually ended up staying up decently late on Saturday, I think it was, to finish it. I can't remember what day it was. And then since The Curse for True Love recently came out, which is the 3rd book in the series, I started that one and I'm already 70% through that book now. And again, I am really liking it. You are kind of seeing a little bit more of one character than I originally anticipated, and this character is not my favorite person, and he is becoming even less of my favorite person the more that I read. And yeah, this character is starting to really grind my gears and piss me off. However, that does not actually mean that I'm liking this book any less. If anything, it's just kind of making me even more curious for how this is all gonna wrap up and whether or not we're gonna actually get a happy ending out of it. Because I will say, if you've read Caraval, you kind of know Stephanie Garber doesn't necessarily guarantee a happy ending in the way that you would expect or want it. So I'm even more curious to see if we will get the 2 main characters that we want to end up together ending up together, and I really hope we do. Obviously, I won't tell you guys if we do because that will be, of course, a huge spoiler, but I'm really excited to just get to the end. And again, I've been flying through this last book. All of them are super easy to read and binge. I don't know what it is about it, and I did say this again in my last reading vlog, but for a fantasy book, there's really no issue with understanding what's going on, the characters, the types of characters. A lot of the magical elements to it are things that most of us are generally familiar with, so there's no new terms or creatures or things like that you have to learn along the way, if that makes sense. All of it's very clear and pretty easy to get into, which I absolutely love. I feel like a lot of fantasy books kind of take a little bit of extra brain power when you're trying to understand what's going on and figure out this new world, but again, you don't really have that issue with this one. And for that, I would say this is a good book for maybe newer fantasy readers, especially romance readers who want to get into fantasy. This would definitely be a really good first series. Also, I don't think that it necessarily spoils so much of Caraval that if you really like the series, you could still go back and read the Caraval series if you want another kind of similar setting, and not necessarily plot, but obviously the same author, so you're gonna get somewhat similar writing, although I do think it is a little bit better in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I'm not sure exactly if it has a name other than that, but yeah, I again am just really loving this series. Can't wait to finish it, and I am not sure exactly what other books that I'm going to read in this video. I do think I'm going to end up reading Kiss the Sky, which I think is the 4th book in the Addicted series. I think it's the 1st book that we see for Rose and Connor, which I am super excited to see and read about. I will come back probably when I finish A Curse for True Love. Obviously, it is the last book in a series, so I don't want to give away too much and spoil, the first 2 books, and kind of same thing with the rest of the books that I plan on reading in this video. But yeah, I'll probably come back once I finish A Curse for True Love, and we'll give you guys my final update on that. Okay, so right now I am at 89%. There's 20 minutes left in this book, and I swear if Stephanie Garber doesn't give me what I want, I will be suing, because right now this book has been whiplash. I've been getting pulled back and forth. She dangles a carrot in front of you and then rips it away the second you get a little bit of happiness, and I swear to God, please don't do me dirty, Stephanie Garber, I swear to God. What did I say about Stephanie Garber and her carrots ripping them out from me the second I get a little close? I swear. How am I at 94% and there's only 7 minutes? That's literally criminal, and I am probably suing. I wish I owned like a Fitbit or something, or like an Apple Watch, because I swear to God, my heart is like pounding right now. This is giving me more anxiety than my tests are. Like the 2 tests I have in 2 days, this is more anxiety inducing, I swear. The only thing that I can think of to explain my reaction to what's happening right now is, I'm just gonna leave it at that. We are now at the epilogue. Five stars. I need more. That epilogue was not nearly long enough. Gosh, that last, not even 50 pages, I don't know how much it was, maybe even like 20, 30, so much goes down. I will say one thing that not even necessarily bothers me, I can let it go, but one character that was in the first book, Once Upon a Broken Heart, you just never see or hear of again, and I'm not sure if I just missed, that plot line being wrapped up or what, but I'm a little confused what happened to her, because she was a decently big character. I do really like how things wrapped up, don't get me wrong, but I do feel like I still would have liked maybe a bit more of an epilogue for some of the other characters, and just getting to see how their plot lines end. I will say, for a fantasy series, you end right at a very, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but you end at a very interesting point, and I definitely would like to see a little bit more. But does that take away from how insane and attached to the story I was and am? No. Do I need to reread this series at some point very soon? Yes. Which for me, that is kind of what I use to characterize a 5-star read. I do tend to have a lot of above 4 stars, 4.25, 4.5, 4.75. If I don't feel like, wow, I could immediately reread that, obviously I'm not going to, but if I don't see myself rereading it within the next year or near future, or just immediately have that urge once I finish it that I want to relive that experience, I don't consider it a 5 stars. And because I feel all those feelings, because I went on an emotional roller coaster, if you can't tell, that was literally insane, that for me tells me that this was a 5-star read, and I genuinely had such a good time reading it. But also, like, Stephanie Garber, you're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me. I need like a nap, a break, some snacks after that, but I have to go study, and that's also really messed up. Ugh. Yeah, it's one of those books where I kind of just like need to lay in bed and stare at the wall for the next like 30 minutes, even though I can't, just to like process and like really get it through my head what just happened. Really good though. I recommend. Clearly. Hey guys, so it is a couple days later. I have just been really bad about updating this weekend. I told you guys before I had a couple tests, and then after that I just had a major headache, so I just kind of like laid in bed and read, and then I have no excuse for the past 2 days. But I do have some reading updates. Okay, so first off, I did finish Kiss the Sky, which is Rose and Connor's book in the Addicted series. I absolutely loved it. I feel like this whole series is one of those books where the enjoyment level is really high, but the plot might not necessarily be, not that it's not good, but it's pretty, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I enjoyed reading a lot. The plot is kind of like all over the place. In a fun way, in a good way. It definitely keeps things interesting, but is it necessarily like the most well-written, beautiful, deep thing ever? Definitely not. And then I also finished Hothouse Flower in one day yesterday, so clearly that tells you how much I've been not filming. So I think I'm giving both of these 4.5. My thoughts on them are kind of the same. I definitely like both couples. I definitely love how we still see all of the characters and it's very much found family, and I think that for me is probably why I like it so much. Like, the plot is a little bit out there. It's fun though, like I said, but I don't know. I just have a really fun time reading it, but I don't really have too much to say about him, if that makes sense. I do think at some points we're talking about deeper issues, but we kind of are going at them a little bit more surface level, and I think being that surface level is fine just because you do get a lot of enjoyment, and it's more of just a fun series about this found family than necessarily supposed to be like super deep, although it does kind of try a little bit. But yeah, so like I said, I'm giving them both both a 4.5. I do think that I like these couples more than Lily and Lo. Don't get me wrong, I do really like Lily and Lo. I've rooted for them a lot more as we learn more about them, but I think I just personally maybe relate and prefer reading about Rose and Connor and Daisy and Rake, which I kind of knew from the very first book that that was going to be the case just based on their personalities, but I'm still definitely like really excited to read the rest of the series. I don't think I'm going to read any more of it in this video just because I've already read 2 of them this month. I do have, I think it's Addicted After All, which is the next one. No, I have Thrive. Thrive is the next one, which we're going back to Lily and Lo, so that's why I'm kind of putting a little break in the series. Like I said, I do really like them. They're not my absolute favorite of this group, but I do still obviously want to see where this goes and get obviously some more of the other characters just since I've really liked where this is going. But yeah, I feel like it's one of those series where you get pure enjoyment no matter how ridiculous the plots kind of are, and I think it's a really fun time, especially if you're looking for maybe some escapism, something really easy to read. And yeah, like I said, I literally flew through these books, could not stop reading them, so I think that says enough. And then so I think the next book that I'm gonna read is actually gonna be Restore Me, which is the 4th book in the Shatter Me series. I read the first 3 back to back. I can't remember exactly how long ago, and I feel like I'm starting to not forget the series, but just kind of not be as motivated to read it as I would be when I do read a series back to back, which I do feel like for me is the way I prefer to. You stay in the story a lot better, you remember the characters a lot better, things just make a little bit more sense, and I don't know, I just feel a lot more motivated to read a full series through than if I just pick up one book one at a time. I might just kind of lose the interest in the series before actually getting to some good parts. I really did like the first 3. I ended with Ignite Me, which is definitely my favorite from the series. I really like where we're going, but I do think I need to get back into the series soon before I start to forget everything, because I definitely have forgotten a little bit, but I do still remember like the main points and the characters. And I do think it's not short, but it is a YA book. The margins are pretty big. There's not that many words on each page, so I don't think it should take me too long to get through. I do also really want to get to reading the second book in the One Dark Window duology. I can't remember what it's called, but I just need to get through the series and get back into this world and see some more from the characters, because we started to end off with it getting really good. So now I really want to pick up back there and see where it goes. Okay, hey guys, so right now I'm like 150 pages into Restore Me, and honestly, it just doesn't really feel like anything is happening. I like the characters, I like the dynamics, but we haven't really done anything since the beginning. So I don't know, like I'm a little bit bored. I'm kind of pushing myself through this, which is not really how I like to be reading. I don't know, I feel like I'm just waiting for something to happen, and hopefully we do get something, but I don't necessarily want to be waiting until the very end of a book to actually have the plot move forward in any way, shape, or form. And that's kind of what we're getting. I don't know. I just feel like the first 3 books you have a lot more going on, and the plot just felt like it progressed a lot faster, and in this book we're not really getting that at all. I don't know. So right now we're looking at maybe like a 3 or like a 2.5, which is not great, but I don't know. I'm hoping the end can kind of redeem it a little bit. We shall see. So I will probably just come back either really close to the end or once I finish this. Hey guys, so I am like 75% into Restore Me, and again, I still don't really feel like that much is happening, and I think this book will kind of end up taking me a little bit longer than normal to actually get through, just because I am kind of reading other books. During just like the course of filming this, I reread ACOTAR, and I'm in the middle of rereading Asimov, which I'm not adding to any videos just since it is a reread, and I'm going back and forth between the physical copies and the audiobooks. But I did really enjoy the books that I read in this video. I do think I'm gonna end like the week here. It's been a little bit over a week, I think. I can't even remember exactly when I started. I'm sorry for the amount of like clips and whatever. It definitely wasn't quite as good as I'd normally try to do. It was a little bit of a busy week. I've been like going back and forth between my house and my apartment, and then also just, I don't know what it is with this like semester quarter for me. I've had a test, it feels like every single week, and next week I have a test literally a couple hours after I film this, and then I have a test next Tuesday, and then 2 presentations next week, so it's like kind of a lot, and it's been a little bit hard to, you know, film, read, and do all of that at the same time. But I do really like the books that I've been reading other than Restore Me, so I will be posting my reading wrap up for October either before or after this video. I'm not totally sure on that yet, but yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up this video. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books or are looking forward to reading any of them. I would love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for me, and I will see you guys.